Hey guys, Brian here from Cross Coast Gaming with tutorial number 2 in the Java Game Dev Programming series. I'm sorry for the long pause between this one and the last episode, but hopefully they'll be more frequent moving forward. So I was reading through the comments on the last one, and I noticed that you guys like the rather slow and taking it easy pace, so I'm going to try and keep doing that moving forward, but I do want to change it up a little bit, and so it is going to be a bit quicker than the last one, or I shouldn't say quicker, but we're going to be covering uh, more stuff, I guess, than the last one. Really, in episode 1, we just pretty much covered strings and how to print to the screen. So what I want to do moving forward, and this may, change over time, but my plan is every episode to have a simple kind of game that we make, and I'll cover the elements of that game in each episode. So eventually, obviously, it'll lead up to graphics games like tower defenses or racers or whatever. But in the first few episodes, since we've just covered variables and printing to the screen, it's going to be simple text-based games. So I wrote this really quickly in a minute or so, um, just to make sure it all works and just to get an idea of what we're going to be making. But this is a guess your number game. So if you play it, it says please enter a max value to play with. So you can enter. It'll give you a number between 0 and whatever this value is. So let's say 100. So then the computer has a random number between 0 and 100, and I don't know what it is. And so I need to guess what it is. So I'll say 50, and it'll tell me if it's higher or lower. So my guess was too low. So 75, too low. 90, too low. 93, 92. You win. So when you guess the number, it says you win. So this is what we're going to be making this time, and I'll cover the new elements that we didn't go over last time. Okay? So don't worry about copying this down because that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So I'm going to just go back here. And this is what we should have. You guys remember this game, right? Save that. I'm a string. No, seriously, I'm a string. This is picking up right after episode 1. So we're going to just get rid of this. I'd make a new class, but I figured just easier just to erase this and work with what we got. And we're going to get rid of this up here. Okay. So now we just have an empty main class and an empty main method. So we're going to start by declaring our variables. And last time we did strings for words and sentences. This time we're going to do integers, which in Java is just an int. And the variables, the integer variables that we need for this game are we need a variable to save or store what the random number is that we're trying to guess. So I'm going to call that number. We need a variable to store what we're guessing. So I'm going to call that guess. And then we need a variable to store, this is more optional, but I figure I'll just add it in there. If you guys don't like it, then by all means don't feel like you need to add it. We need a variable to store what the max value is that we want to get numbers between 0 and that value. So during the example I did 0 and 100. So I'll just name this max value. And so for variables, what we did before is we had 1, but as you can see, you can put more than one variable on one line when you're declaring it by using a comma. So these are all their own individual variables. The other way would be like that. So both of these work, both of these are fine. I just prefer the other way because it looks a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to keep it like that. And because we're accessing it from this static class here, we're going to have to put static here. So it's a public static int. I'll go over statics and voids later, but for now just put public static int and 3 variables. You can name them whatever you want, but it might be easier to name it what I have here: number, guess, max value. And then in addition to that, we also need a couple classes. So bear with me here. We're going to need a scanner. Oops, a scanner. And you can name it whatever you want. So I'm going to call mine scan. We're going to need a random number generator. Also known as a random. I'm going to call it rand. And you'll get these little red lines saying that it can't be resolved to a type, and that's because we didn't import these classes. So scanner and random are their own classes that are found within the default Java library right here. But what we need to do is tell Java that we're actually using them in our program. So there's two ways you can do that. You can either hover over it and show you some options here, and you can just click right here to import scanner. So I'll do that for this one. And you see that fixes it. All it does is add a line up here, import java.util.scanner. That means that we can now use the scanner in our program. The other way to do it, the easier way, is here. I'll Control Z and go back here before I added that. So if you have multiple classes that you're trying to add, or you just don't want to hover over it and click import, if you click Control Shift O, that will import everything you need. So imported the random and the scanner for us. All right. And now that we have our variables declared, it's time to start the actual program. So I'm going to start by printing out to the screen system.out.print. Now this is familiar from our last tutorial, hopefully. And I'll say, please enter a guess, space, quotes. Make sure you have quotes around what you want to print. And we'll click save here. Just to run it real quick. Please enter a guess. That's our whole program right now. And actually, before we want to print that, so right above that, we need to initialize our scanner and our random number generator. So just bear with me on this, but this is something we haven't covered yet, but it should come pretty easily once we do it a couple times. But to initialize a class like a scanner or a random, you use the name. So in this case, we have scan as the name. And you say scan equals new scanner, parentheses, semicolon. So that's pretty much starting our scanner. Oh, and here we need an argument. So inside this parentheses, we're going to put system.in. And so pretty much what we're telling our scanner is we want scan to be a new scanner, okay? So we're starting this new scanner. That's what scan is. And it's saying, what are we going to scan? Well, we're going to scan whatever you input into the system. So in this case, it's going to be a guess. So that's what the argument is in between these parentheses. We're saying, what do you want to scan with the scanner? We're going to scan whatever you can put into the scanner. Okay? And then below that, we're going to initialize our random. So it's going to be rand equals new random. And that doesn't need any arguments, so that should be fine with that. Okay. And now what we're going to do is actually right below where we initialize our random, we're going to set our number, the number that the computer assigns that we're trying to guess. Number equals rand, which is our random number generator, dot. And here are all of the commands that our random number generator can do. We're going to choose next int. I don't see it here, but if you just start typing next, there you go, next int, semicolon. And what this means is that the number is going to be equal to the next random integer that random generates. So we're going to add an argument here and say 100. And what that does is it says that number is equal to a random number between 0 and 100. If you hover over next int, you can see right here it says returns a value between 0 inclusive, meaning it can be 0, and the specified value exclusive. So this will be 0 and 99. So to make it 0 and 100, let's make it 101 in here. So this will set number equal to a random number between 0 and 101. And now what we're going to do, let's go down here. And actually, let's go below where we print this out. And we're going to do a while loop. Okay? So while guess does not equal number, we're going to do open bracket and closing bracket. So we haven't gone over loops yet, but what a loop is everything between these two brackets, it's going to run over and over and over and over as long as this condition is still true. So as long as the guess, what number we're guessing, is not equal to the number that we're trying to guess, everything that we write in here we're going to write in here is going to happen over and over and over until guess is equal to the number that we're trying to guess. So this sign here means not equal to. If you want to say equal to, in Java that's two equal signs. Okay? So this would mean while our guess is equal to the number we're trying to guess, do this. But we don't want to do that. We want to say while the guess is not equal to the number we're trying to guess, we're going to keep running the code here that makes us keep guessing. So we'll start by saying that our guess is equal to scan, which is our scanner that we named up here, dot next int. Oops. Next int. So this means that the computer is going to wait for us to enter a number. Okay? Once we run this, it's going to wait for us to enter a number, and it's going to set our variable guess equal to whatever number we enter. And then we're going to do an if statement. We're going to say, well, wait, let's try this right now. Save this and run it. It says, please enter a guess. So 10. And what happens is when the program runs, we get our variables. We set scan to a new scanner. We set rand to a new random number between 0 and 100. Then we print, please enter a guess. Just right here. And then it says, well, guess is not equal to number, which it's not because guess is equal to nothing, right? Because guess, we haven't set it equal to anything. So guess it has no value. It's not equal to anything. And number we know is equal to something between 0 and 100. So guess is not equal to number, so it says, okay, we'll do what's inside here, which is we're going to set guess equal to the next thing the person types, 10. And since that's all we have right now, it's going to keep doing that over and over. So right now guess is equal to 10, guess is equal to 50, 29. This will never stop. Actually, it could stop if I guessed the value. It could stop if I guessed number randomly, but we're not giving any hints. In fact, it looks like I did just guess it because it's not asking me anymore. It looks like the number was 12. Interesting. Pretty lucky, actually. All right, so what we're going to do to give us some hints, because that game is not very intuitive, is an if statement. So we're just going to type if, and then parentheses. And in these kind of statements, like in a while loop or in an if statement, the condition goes inside parentheses, meaning the code that needs to execute, what needs to happen for that to execute is in this little condition. So in order for all of this code in the while loop to execute or to run, this needs to be true. Guess needs to not equal number. And so for this if statement, we're going to say, for this code to run, we're going to say if guess is greater than number, put our brackets there, then we're going to print out a hint. And we're going to say, or guess is too high. We'll do another if statement here. If guess is less than number, we're going to print out your guess is too low. So let's save that and run it and see what happens. Please enter a guess. 50. Guess is too high. 25. Too low. So it's between 50 and 25. 35 is too high. 30. Too low. So 33. Too low. It's got to be 34. Yep. It doesn't print anything else. It doesn't ask me to do it again. I can't type anything. So that means that the number was 34. But now what we want to do is we want to let them know when they won, because this doesn't say anything. It just stops. So we're going to go outside of this while loop. Let me get rid of some of these spaces here. By the way, if your code is ever getting sloppy, like the indexes are not matching up and you're typing all over the place, like, I actually can't do that. You're typing all over the place like this, the lines are not matching up and stuff, then something you can do that's pretty cool in Eclipse is you can press Control-Shift-F. That will format everything super neat and tidy. So here's the while loop. So we're saying, while the guess is not equal to the number, we're going to set our guess equal to the next number that we enter. So we're going to keep guessing over and over. And if that new guess is greater than the number, we're going to say it's too high. If it's less than the number, we're going to say it's too low. But then what happens when it's equal to the number? Well, when it's equal, this is not going to run at all. So we're going to escape this while loop. So we need to type something that happens after it. So after these two brackets, after everything in our while loop, we're going to enter down here. We're going to say system.out.println U1. So let's try now. Okay, so this could be a standalone example or demo by itself, but the one thing I wanted to add now is the max value. So what we can do now is we can ask the person to, instead of just arbitrarily setting it to 101 or 0 and 100, we can ask the person what value they want the possible range of numbers to go up to. So we'll do that right here. We'll say right above where we set number, system.out.println, please enter a maximum value to guess from. I don't know. Whatever you want to write here. We're asking the user to enter a value that the maximum possible number they have to guess could be. So please enter a max range, whatever. And then we're going to say max value equals scan dot next int. And then when we set the number equals to a random number generator between 0 and 101, we're going to change 101 to max value. So let's try it now. Please enter a max range. 1,000. So for guess, 500. It's too low. So we already know that it works because it's above 101. It's going between 1 and 1,000. 50, low, 100, low, 100, low, 50, 95, 95, 95. Okay, so I hope this was helpful or informative. Please let me know in the comments what I did good, what I did badly, if you want me to make more of these, or if I should just stop and never make videos again. All criticism and critiques and any ideas you had about this video are appreciated and will help me in the future. What we covered, some main things are declaring and initializing variables other than a string, so in this case integers, and then scanners and a random, and a while loop, while loops and if statements. A lot of stuff for one video, to be honest. So I'm sorry if it's a little too much, but let me know in the comments if you like this pace better, or if it should be more slow like the first one. And yeah, thanks guys. Make sure you subscribe to Crosscoast Gaming for more videos and more tutorials, and I'll see you next time.